What's going on, guys? Today I've got a tutorial for you for one of the most basic parts of Gunpla building. I think it's one of the most important parts, nub removal. So when it comes to taking apart your kits and cutting them off the runners, most people start with something like this, which is a basic Xeron cutter. I think these are like $6 or $7, but it's a decent way to start. And even when you use these, you're still gonna have parts of the runner left over or the cut marks on there. And I wanna show you guys an example of a kit that I did early on that turned out far less awesome than I was hoping or expecting it to. This is the Gundam Unicorn Banshee, and you can see all the bad nub marks on there, and typically this would be a pretty cool looking kit if it wasn't covered in all these little pot marks all over it. So I am going to spend some time and redo this one, but I wanted to use this as an example so you could see that doesn't look good. That looks really weak. So like the kit as it stands, if you're a few inches away from it, you don't really notice them, but I mean anything on a darker color like this, you're gonna notice. It's just gonna look cheap. It's gonna look like it was poorly put together. So I'm gonna show you guys how to take it off with the most simple tools that I could get, which is the Xeron nippers, and a basic, just a nail file. You can get these from Walmart or from any beauty supply shop, and they're only maybe $1. But these will save all of your kits. You'll look so much better if you use these. I also use sanding sponges. So these things are a couple of bucks a piece. You can pick them up. I use them for most of my kits, and they're just nice to have around just to smooth everything out once they're sanded. So we'll start by cutting the pieces off of the runner. These are just a couple of leftover hand covers for the GM Sniper 2. And you can hear that loud click. It's just yanking the plastic off of there. So I left a little bit of plastic on there just so we'll have some material to work with. We'll cut it a little bit closer. Even that looks a little bit better, but you still have those white marks on there. Cut off a little more material. I don't think we're going to be able to get much more off of this one. This is one of the worst ones. So you'll start by taking your nail file and just running it back and forth over there until you get it nice and smooth. Try to keep it as level as you can with the piece. You'll notice if you're being level or not if you're getting the outside edge just like that. So now our nub mark is gone, but we have those little sanding marks. When I use these sanding sponges, and one is a heavy, one is a medium cut, and one is a light cut. We can typically go with the medium cut if we're using a fine cut file. And I almost always use these wet. So you dip them in a little bit of water, going over the area again to keep it nice and flat. And the nub mark is almost completely gone now. You can still see a little bit of it left over with some of the sanding marks. We'll go over it a few more times. And now, there is just the little mark from the injection line there. There's no nub mark left on there anymore. Once it's top coated or even just on the kit, you're not gonna see any marks on there. Go over and do one more. We'll pick one of the worst ones right here on the side. And it may seem kind of tedious, it may seem like one of those things where you're gonna have to spend a lot of extra time on there, but the effort really shows if you come back to your kits and you sand off all your nub marks. Some of them you're not really gonna see if they're on like inner frame, or if they're on just like the inside of the kit, or on the underside, you're not gonna see them, but all that little bit of extra effort really does is make your kits come out much more fine. So if I would have done that on the Banshee, it wouldn't look like it does, look like a 16-year-old in high school. So some of these where it's just a finer edge right here, because I've sanded off the nub mark, you're never gonna see the sanding marks right there. So I think that is fine. So going from having all of these little pot marks to having no nub marks will make a huge difference in your kits. Alright guys, so if there's anything else you'd like to see, any tutorials you'd like, anything that could help improve your kits, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be back to you guys soon with another tutorial. Thanks!